Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Heart to Heart with Hads. Today, I believe we're on episode 17. That's 17 full straight weeks of podcasts. Go me. I'm proud of myself. No, but today's Thursday. I'm recording this the day before it drops. Usually, I'm recording a couple days before, so Monday. But this week has been a little bit chaotic, so I pushed it back and it was holiday weekend. So I finally got the time to sit down, and today I decided I was going to make a short one, but a very impactful and meaningful one, and that'll probably offend a lot of people, which is completely okay. I do not care. I'm just going to shout it from my rooftops because I this is just something that I'm sick of, and I need to make it known. But before we get into the episode, I wanted to do a little recap on my weekend. So I went and visited my boyfriend, and he played in a golf tournament, and he won it. And we just really chilled. And we went to eat. Oh my gosh, no, I really have to tell. I always think that my weekends are so uneventful, but then something always pops into my head. So he played in the tournament. Then we went ate at our favorite place, burger place. Oh, sweet potato fries are so crisp. Mm. And the burgers are so good. I got a Wagyu burger. I think that's how you say it. So delicious. And then after that, we went to the mall because he wanted to get some stuff. And while we were there, we thought there was a shooting, okay? These people came running towards us. Like we were in a store, and like probably the biggest store in the mall, and all of these people started running towards us, and we were like, oh my gosh, and they were screaming, and I was like, oh my gosh, there is someone in here with a gun. We were freaking out. And so all these people started running towards us. We were on the upper level, so we ran downstairs so fast out the door. We were freaking out. There was police outside everywhere, and we were convinced that there was a shooting because people were that's what they were making it sound like and seem like. So we jolted out of there so fast. We got to the car. People were like losing their shoes. It was so chaotic. It was such a chaotic moment. Anyways, we sat there for a minute, and I was like, you know what? I think I need some ice cream after that traumatic event. So we went and got me ice cream, and then we came back. Well, we ended up calling, and we called them all. And we're like, hey, like, is everything okay? And they're like, yeah, apparently some kids were like fighting a cop, and then one of the kids yelled gun even though there was no gun, so everyone started freaking out, and it was just a mess. But ended up going back, and he got what he needed to get, and we skedaddled out of there. But it was so scary. So I guess that was the most eventful thing that happened this weekend. Other than that, nothing really happened. Just kind of chilled out, golfed, the vibes always, and just some other things, but I don't really want to share too much of that because it's more personal. Anyways, that's pretty much it. My week's been busy since then, just with my new 8-week challenge that I started up with some ladies. I had about 22 people sign up, which is amazing. And I can't wait to see who's going to win it and come out on top, and just see the transformation that all of these ladies have from start to finish. So I think it's going to be pretty freaking cool. But I think we should get into today's episode, and it's really going to probably make some people mad. But we're going to talk about mental toughness and how I don't think most people have mental toughness. And if you think you're mentally tough, but you keep quitting when things get hard, this episode's for you, directly for you. And I think a lot of people think they're mentally tough until life tests them, and then they don't know how to respond. They completely shut down. They throw everything that they've been doing forever completely out the window. And I think that's just a terrible way to live and look at things because it shows that you are weak mentally. And I'm sorry, but I said it. You're weak mentally if you cannot handle the things that life throws at you, and you can't handle them, and it's just sorry, but it is what it is. So We're going to dive right in. So, what is mental toughness? In my opinion, I think it's about having the toughness mentally, no matter if life's going good or if life's going bad. So, that's the first little just. And then I think mental toughness has three different little components to it. So, resilience. This is the number one. How quickly do you bounce back from setbacks, and how do you bounce back from setbacks? Do you show up in a terrible way when you come back? You're so moody, you can't seem to unfocus from what happened, and you have this mindset of a like depressive mindset that all you can think about is what happened and you can't focus on the now. So I think a big thing is stop focusing on what just happened and focus on right now. What can you do right now is huge. Next thing, consistency. So mental toughness is about consistently showing up even on the days that you absolutely do not feel like it. Some days I don't want to wake up and do the things that I have to do, but guess what? I do it anyways because I'm mentally tough. I know that these are things that I have to accomplish in order to set myself up for success and get me closer to my goals, no matter what it is: work, gym, relationships, everything. You're not going to want to show up all the time, but you have to. This makes you so tough up here, okay? Oh my gosh, this is a huge one. Adaptability. So how do you handle stuff whenever things happen out of the blue without completely falling apart? Can you maintain things that you have set in place in your life? Are you able to still maintain your routine of going to the gym and eating your healthy foods, like whatever it may be? I'm just going to think of a scenario. This is completely kind of not related, but related. Whenever I was on prep last year, I was doing a lot of cardio and I had the biggest freaking blisters on my feet. This is kind of like goes about physical toughness and mental toughness, but I thought that because I had these blisters on my feet that I could not accomplish my cardio, that my training was going to be bad, that it was just going to make me super stressed out. And that was such a mental barrier that I had. But instead of letting that consume me, I adapted. I changed my cardio regimen from treadmill walking to going to the bike. Now, did it throw off my routine because I was able to do my cardio right here in my room on my treadmill? I had to wake up 10 minutes earlier to go to the gym to ride the bike instead. And so that's where just adapting to life changes comes into play. And another thing, too, is I have just noticed this with a ton of, not a ton, but some of my athletes is they make excuses for every little life thing that comes about. I understand being sick, I understand family emergencies, but when it's little things like I can't even think of something that I've heard from someone, just like you're just something small or something that changes. Like, okay, here's another example for me. So last year, whenever I started my 9 to 5 job, which is also literally the same time I started prep, I still did not miss a beat. It didn't matter how much my routine had changed. Yes, I literally had to change everything in a flip like that. And it was all because I'm mentally tough up here. I know that I have had all of these habits set in place for so long that they're going to continue to be there even when other things happen and change within my life. That's when your mental toughness comes into play because you know, yes, my life may not be going how I want in other areas, but I know these other things I have to show up and I have to do them. So that's a big one. Being able to adapt. So resiliency, consistency, and adaptability. And those are just some examples from some mental toughness battles that I had to go through. So those are more like fitness things, and I'm trying to think of something that's more personal, but even just with like, when I was having gut issues, I was still finding a way to make sure I was staying active. And I know people's issues are so much larger than mine. People will need to, cut. This is just another example that's been coming up a lot is I'm sorry, but I don't have time for a coach right now, they come up with the excuse of they don't have time or they don't have the money. And if you're truly prioritizing your health, it's something that you will fit in. And money is always tight for majority of people. And I have never once thought about cutting coaching out because I know how much it benefits me every single day. That accountability aspect, having someone mentor me, someone I can go to whenever I want and ask a question because I know they're going to be there to help me and progress me forward. If if you are cutting that out of your life because you have these other excuses, then it's like you really don't care about it that much. And I mean, I know it's your life, but you have to, weigh things out. You can always cut back on other things. So for me, like I have been really trying to be better about my money. And so I have went through like everything I'm spending on and I've cut out things that are solely super unnecessary. But never once have I thought about cutting coaching out because it's a necessity. It's something that I need. And but when people don't prioritize that and they don't see it as that value, then I understand. But for me, it's not. It's something that I need to keep me going. And I know that I'm a competitor, so it's different for me because like yeah, bodybuilding is my life, but even then, I feel like everyone having that mentor in their life can just transform you so much. Having someone that's not gonna tell you that, oh, you're doing great, sweetie. I mean, maybe sometimes you are doing great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'll tell you that. But when you're not, like, when you need that kick in the ass and nobody else is gonna tell you, you don't have your mom sitting there patting you on the back, you don't have your partner, whatever it may be, you don't have them telling you you're doing great. You need somebody to push you past your comfort zone. And so, I didn't mean to get off on that little tangent, but that was just what was on my mind, the front of my lobe today. So I just thought I needed to share that. But just some common misconceptions when people think about being mentally tough. They think that being mentally tough means not feeling weak or vulnerable, and this is where people get wrong. Even the strongest people have fear, frustration, doubts, anxiety, but what makes them stronger mentally than anyone else is they know how to deal with these emotions and they know how to respond to them properly. And those people that just, think they have to shut down everything because one life thing happened, those are the ones that are not mentally tough. They don't know how to sit there with their feelings and their thoughts before they put things into action. And for someone like me, I'm a deep thinker. I think about things before I say them. So, for the most part, whenever there's like tough situations going on, I fully need a lot of time to process them. And where I think is people who are a little bit on the other side of not being mentally tough, they just think, oh, like I have to stop this right now. Like I just can't do it. They shut out everything in the world around them instead of just keep doing the things that are making them thrive. So that's my thoughts on that. And this is another thing too. Mentally tough people are not superhuman. They've just learned to push through all of their battles and tribulations in life. They learn to push through them, and that's what makes them stronger and stronger and stronger. So, I mean, maybe it just comes down to people have not truly experienced enough big hardship things to know what it feels like to be mentally tough. And that's good that you haven't had to go through those things, but at the same time, like maybe stepping outside of, not even stepping outside of your comfort zone, but when some things happen in life, they test your limits, and you just need to think deeper on how can I respond to this. So here's some signs that you are not mentally tough. Okay, we're gonna jump into this. Number one, giving up when it's convenient. So you quit whenever things are hard or inconvenient, even without realizing it. So this is just very like surface level, but quitting a workout because they're tired or because falling off your meal plan because it's too hard to stick to. These are very shitty excuses. I'm just going to say it. If you can't do that, then grow up. It's so frustrating. Okay. This is just an example. So you commit to let's just say, waking up at 6 a.m. to work out, but after a few days, you start hitting snooze because you deserve that extra sleep. Are you being mentally tough right there? Or, I mean, like, there's a difference between actually being tired and actually just the mental toughness of not wanting to get up. You have to stop looking at your short term and look long term when it comes to being tough. Change your mindset around this. And if this is something that you do, say you make it 2 days a week and then the other days a week you completely fall off, think about it. Truly think about that. I know like we can't be perfect all the time, but reflect like, am I really giving it all that I've got? And am I staying committed even whenever it's uncomfortable? No. Okay, sign number two, lack of consistency. So people think that mental toughness only shows up during tough moments, but it's the monotonous day in and day out doing the same boring tasks is what makes you mentally tough too, because you show up even on the days where it is it is hard, and you can't just go based off your feelings. You just have to go based off habits and things that you know that you have to get done. So staying consistent, missing your workout, skipping your meals, skipping tasks, all of these things is a lack of toughness. All right. Fear of discomfort. Comfort. Fear of discomfort. Number three. So you avoid situations that make you uncomfy. An example, if you're always choosing the easy route, whether it's skipping the gym, skipping the hard exercises, skipping the healthier meal, not being able to say no when you go out to eat, whatever it may be, it's those uncomfortable moments that you grow as a human being. And those are important, incredibly important for your growth. So, did I say three signs? Yeah, those are three signs. Okay. Next part. So, how to build the mental toughness up? Discipline. This is huge. I have always been a disciplined girl. And I think it stems back to my parents disciplining me from such a young age. But if you don't have that discipline in you, that self discipline aspect in you, then having that mental toughness is going to be really hard. So, sticking to your routine, waking up at the same time every day, you have to have that discipline in you. And pushing through when you don't fucking feel like it, when you're tired, when you're down. These are the moments that truly matter. Lay that foundation, okay? Discipline helps so much. Doing what you said you do, even when you don't feel like it. I know I just mentioned that in last week's podcast. So start small. Stick to a small habit for 30 days. That's why I love this challenge that I'm doing. It's because it's helping these people lay the foundation for a healthy lifestyle. And it's so important to have that. All right. Embrace discomfort. Oh, I love this. I love doing things that make me feel so uncomfortable. This is just an example, but right now I have a mentor and he's helping me with my business, grow it, things like that. He's helping me whenever I get on calls, getting new athletes coming in. He's critiquing them, saying, I could be doing this better and that better. And it's so uncomfortable. I do not want to watch it at all. And I hate when he gives me feedback because it truly makes me feel like, oh my gosh, I suck at everything and I'm a piece of shit, but in reality, it helps me so much. It's getting me out of my comfort zone, and I'm forced to learn and to grow because it's something that I've never had to do before. So, next one, mindset shifts. Okay, shift your perspective on your struggles. Always view your struggles as an opportunity. This is something that I have not always done, but here recently done. So, for a while I've been dealing with, some things of just like irregular cycle, some gut health, things like that. And instead of those struggles being so transparent and me not being able to, train as hard as I want to or really push it in the gym and whatever it may be, eat other foods, like just sticking to, foods that are going to keep my gut healthy. And I've had to change my mindset shift from this sucks to holy crap. I have so much more time now to focus on things that are non gym related, like growing my business and reading more books and learning and spending time with my dogs and spending time outside and spending time with more people, more relationships. And I think that's just what it comes down to, is that when life throws you these things, use them as opportunities to grow. You're continuously evolving. And once you change that perspective in your head of like the victim mindset to when things get hard, instead of saying, why me? Why me? Ask yourself, what is this teaching me right now? How is this making me a better human being? And this helps you so much stick to long-term goals, overcome challenges that most other people would give up on. You're being an outlier by having this mindset, if that makes sense. Hope it does. All right. So here's just some examples that I have from some mental toughness things, and they are very like small, minuscule. I know I talk about things like this, but whenever you're in the gym, say you're training on a set and your body is telling you, your mind is telling you that you're done. Oh my gosh, it hurts, everything hurts, I can't do it. But your body, you have so much more to give. Your brain is telling you to stop. So whenever you're in the gym, you're in a deep set, like this is just a really surface level example, you have to overcome that battle of like, I can push more. I'm not done. And if you've never really taken a set to true muscle failure, you probably won't know. So you should probably work harder, hire me as your coach to, critique your training so I can tell you to step it the hell up. But that's just a very small example of what I'm talking about. And I think that's all I have for a little short example. So that's an example for me. Okay, I'm trying to think. So an example I have about, okay, here's another one actually I just thought of. Whenever I was cheering at K State and I hurt my hamstring, it was during COVID. I was definitely under eating. I was overtraining. I was at the gym all the time. I was getting so many steps. I did like a pistol squat, and literally right then and there, I felt like it snapped. And I had this freaking hamstring thing go on for so long, and it carried over all the way until I moved back home in Wichita for like 5 months, and I couldn't figure out why I was feeling this way and I wasn't recovering. Is because I was still continuously under eating and overtraining and not giving my body any rest, and I couldn't sleep, and my hormones were all out of whack, and it was so stressful. And I finally had to come to Jesus with myself, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. Like, I have to eat more. I have to stop stepping so much because I feel like shit. And so I think it's whenever, too, like, whenever shit hits the fan, it's like you still have to keep pushing through no matter what. And that's what I did. I had to adjust to, life changes, but I didn't ever stop training. I didn't ever put my healthy lifestyle aside. I just had to mentally overcome the battle of, I need to eat more to fuel my body in a way that I should. So another example I could think of too is I've had multiple clients come to me and they're like, "Oh, I've just plateaued for this so long." And it's like it's it's not about necessarily, staying consistent with your nutrition and training. Obviously, this is huge, but just having the mindset of like, I'm not going to be able to progress and lose body fat every single week if my mindset sucks towards it. So, changing your perspective is huge as well. And this is something that I work a lot with my clients, my athletes right now, is change your mindset, because why is the scale being your only indicator of progression whenever there's so many other things like you're stronger, your clothes fit better. There's so many other things, but you just have to mentally talk that through them and have that mental toughness of like, okay, I have to keep going no matter what, even if it's not going my way right off the bat. So, those are just my tips or my thoughts for today on mental toughness and pushing through when shit gets hard. And there's another example I have for you. When I was a kid and I was cheering, and I was tumbling. Tumbling is such a big part of cheer. And I would go through, I think I went through it maybe once, where I literally just lost a skill, a tumbling skill. I wouldn't throw it. I was scared. And I just had to remind myself, like, I've done this so many times. I've done this hundreds of times. Why am I sitting here psyching myself out? And I think it was because I had this fear based behind it. But when I finally was just like, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. And my mom made me write, I can do it so many times in a notebook until one day I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go and I'm just gonna fucking do it. And I'm tired of letting myself down. And that's another thing that you need to think of whenever you're going through it. Like, I don't want to let myself down. I don't want to let everyone else around me down. So, the importance of mental toughness, you heard it. Its ability to stay committed, push through, and just keep going when things get tough. So, I'm going to encourage you to reflect on where you're falling short in your mental toughness. What's one area in your life that you give up on too soon and too fast and too often? I want you to identify it and I want you to take action on it. Okay? So pick one small habit or area to work on. So whether it's getting up early, sticking to your training, saying no to going out to eat with a friend whenever you know you have goals, or just simply not giving in when things get hard. It's super easy. Not super easy. Easier said than done. But start today. Start small with small little habits. They all add up. So, if you guys like this episode, if you have any struggles or things that you're dealing with, reach out to me because I love hearing them. And I love just when people come to me with their issues. I kind of like a counselor. Am I? I don't know. But don't be afraid to reach out about these things because everyone goes through them. But at the same time, you got to have that resiliency, that grit to just, keep going when things get tough. So, if you need help developing your mental toughness, you know where to find me. Coaching, health with HADS. I'd be glad to have you as one of my athletes and get your mental toughness up, because not only am I going to transform your physique and your overall health, but your mindset is huge. And I'm going to help you build that mental toughness, because when shit gets hard, we don't give up. We keep going. So, thank you guys for listening to the episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.